Hey Denise,
Yes.
are you ready to shoot an episode of Can We Talk?
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm Denise Sutton, and I am speaking with a wonderful young lady today by the name of Chante Dent. Chante Dent has a wonderful ministry, and I would like to introduce you all to her. I am pleased to announce that she is an author. She is a woman of faith. She loves God, and she has an amazing testimony. Welcome, Chante.
Hi, hello, and I'm happy, just elated to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Chante Dent and her ministry.
Chante Dent. She's a woman who's been through some things. I like to use that as a staple statement sometimes. I am a woman who's been through some things, and the experiences that I have had, I always say, there are experiences that could have taken me out. I could have taken a different route, but I chose to maintain a relationship with the Lord and allow Him to give me the strength, wisdom, peace, and everything else that comes with having an intimate relationship with God that has allowed me to cross over to the other side from a hurt, fragile individual to being whole and complete in Him. And one of my staple phrases is God can take broken pieces and create a beautiful masterpiece. And that is my story in a nutshell. Experiences that left me broken, emotionally wounded, sometimes not even being able to connect the dots as to why I was acting a certain way, and then finally realizing, oh, it's because I haven't healed. I haven't experienced a healing, an emotional healing from the trauma. But I'm thankful today that I stand confidently and proudly in who I am and what Christ is doing through me.
Now, I know you are the author of My Lemonade Recipe, turning life's sour experiences into something sweet. And you just spoke about brokenness. Sometimes when we are broken and we are on the road of surrendering our emotions and our lives to the Lord, and we have broken that pattern, yet sometimes we go right back into that emotional turmoil space. What advice would you give to someone who wants to pick up the broken pieces, wants to turn their lemons into lemonade, but they find themselves stuck in a cycle?
My first piece of advice and encouragement would be to make up your mind that you're going to be intentional about healing. Like, that has to be a sound decision. Like, no matter what distractions come, I'm not even sure what this journey will look like, but I am making up in my mind that I will be intentional about my healing process. Just simply making that decision. Not having all the details yet, but you just know without a doubt, I will heal. I will be restored. And it's something about that mindset that gives you the strength to fight for your freedom no matter what. And once you make up in your mind that you will heal, whatever it takes, you practice it daily. Now, in terms of feeling stuck, everyone is different. For me, I had a support system. I had a circle of individuals, a small circle, but I had a circle of individuals. And these are individuals from church, my family, my friends, therapists, that were there to help me stay anchored, because doing it alone, I don't believe is healthy. And you need those individuals that are going to encourage you along the way. It may be a program or organization, but something or someone that keeps you accountable in terms of encouragement, not discouragement. Like, oh, I thought you said you were going to do better. I thought you said you were going to be better. That's discouraging. But encouraging in a sense of, I know it may feel a little tough, but you got this. I know it may feel like you may not heal, but you will, So I feel like you have to definitely make that decision that you will heal in spite of what it may look like, what that journey may look like. Just have a fight inside of you. Your why has to be strong enough to keep you going, even when you feel discouraged or weak. And knowing that you do not have to go through the healing journey alone. Be very strategic in terms of who you allow in that inner circle to help you through the healing journey.
Heard as you spoke, wait on the Lord.
Hmm.
Be of good courage, and he
Mhm.
shall strengthen thine heart.
Amen.
And I also heard the word strategic. And I also heard therapist.
You got it.
There is a stigma sometimes that Christians should not seek therapy or seek counsel from a psychiatrist or psychologist. However, I find that contrary. What are your feelings on those that, especially going through COVID-19 and our daily walk now, dealing with COVID-19, being isolated for so long? What are your feelings on seeking a therapist and others that can counsel and give godly, wise counsel to Christians and those that are not Christian?
Therapists, I believe, are gifted, anointed. Like any person, any human being, any industry, there'll be some who are, I don't want to say good versus bad, but, good versus great, or, that can cater specifically to you, your style, your situation, your experience. And for some reason, there may be some therapists that may not be suited for you. I would always keep that in mind and not solely believe that just because they have this term therapist, that they are sent from heaven. I mean, unfortunately, even in the Christian, in our religion, there are people who are preachers and pastors and evangelists. That doesn't mean you should follow them. So I would strongly encourage you not to get caught up in the title of, I'm going to the therapist and that's good or that's bad. I believe at the end of the day, you have someone who is trained, who knows how to, generally speaking, bring out the best in you. Someone who's trained to help you break down and get to the root of what's really going on. And they can help you take the proper steps, because it's true. Some people feel so stuck and paralyzed, they genuinely do not feel that they can heal. They don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, and they stay in a state of depression, and they stay in this dark cave because they feel hopeless. And I feel that the therapist, at least the therapy that I experienced, these were women who were very, very good at what they did. They were very skillful, and they didn't sit and tell me what to do and how to do it. They allowed me to, in a sense, take the lead by their questions. Their questions would prompt me to think differently, to maybe change my perspective. And also, as I mentioned earlier, dig a little deeper. What's behind that action? What do you think was behind that type of response? And I personally believe that when you're able to get to the root cause of whatever it is that you may be experiencing, maybe some unhealthy behavioral patterns, and there might be ways that you choose to respond to individuals or triggers that you may be experiencing from a past trauma. Just having someone dedicated and committed to helping you go through that process to understand what's going on, I think it really takes your healing to the next level. Now, I will also caution people to feel like they can't heal if they don't have a therapist. I've connected with a lot of individuals who say, it was me and God. I was every day, in my prayer closet, and the Lord guided me through a healing process. So again, having a therapist, I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about having an open mind to the help that God sends your way. And sometimes that is in the form of a therapist. So not feeling as if a therapist can't help me, but at the same time, I don't want anyone to feel like if I don't have a therapist, I'll never heal.
Mind sharing with the audience why you wrote your book?
Yeah. The why behind the book was my yes to God. I was that individual who felt like I can help someone by talking to them, or I can help someone by, sharing my story in a class, etc. But there's no need for a book. I don't need a book. Everyone wants to write a book just to say they wrote a book. So I actually strayed away from the idea of writing a book. I did not think it was necessary. But when I realized the book can go further than, a conversation, further than an interview, a book is available and anyone can pick it up and read it, or pick it up and share what they read. When I thought about the why behind the book, I said, absolutely. Because it was, I had already had a comfort level of sharing my story, but putting in a book, I didn't think it was necessary until again, when you realize the why and you focus on the mission and the purpose, the reason. For me, I thought, yeah, I do need to write this book, because if it's going to expand the reach and help someone heal, it's worth it. It's necessary. And what I love about healing, as I mentioned earlier, there are some individuals for a number of reasons who may not go to a therapist, but maybe it's my lemonade recipe book. Maybe it's your book that they take every night and sit in their bed with the nightlight on, or go in their closet or in their car during some quiet time. And maybe your book is a tool that would minister to their brokenness. And that's how I saw the impact and the importance of moving forward and giving God my yes, by writing that book to help other people who have experienced those situations that many suggest they should remain unspoken and unnoticed and secretive. Well, I was like, I'm here to pull back the curtains and say, this happens. This is a real life, and this is how I healed. And prayerfully, it'll help you experience healing as well.
Amen. I appreciate that. I thank you for that. It's something you said that also triggered me. You said, take it to your car and read. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking about, since COVID-19 started around March in the United States, and there have been so many people that have been in closed containers, in closed areas, because we have to shelter in place. What would you say to that woman and or that man or that child that may have been in abusive situations prior to COVID-19, and now they find themselves even closer contained to their abuser?
Definitely reach out to receive help for your own sake, and if you have little children in the home with you, for their sake as well. Because again, the scary part of someone full of anger and that anger being bottled up is when the explosion comes, it's going to be detrimental. And you're absolutely right. The normal outlets that we've had in the past, they don't exist for a lot of people right now. And so for the individual who is in this unhealthy environment, physical abuse, emotional abuse, various forms of abuse, whatever type of abuse, I would say reach out. And sometimes it's easier for someone to reach out to a hotline versus a family member or a friend. And a lot of websites, a lot of organizations that offer help, they have websites, and they even have like these safe exit buttons. So if your abuser comes in your space, you can click on this safe exit and it'll quickly show another screen. That helps protect you from planning your escape, in a sense. But hotlines or talking to a trusted friend. And here's something so near and dear to my heart from the stories that I hear of people who are being abused, women in particular. They are not ready to leave because they don't think they'll make it on their own. And yes, one can be realistic and say it may not be easy. At the same time, when you focus on your worth and your value and your peace and your protection, my prayer is that that would give you the fuel and the energy that you need to make that phone call, to escape from that unhealthy and unsafe environment. Again, it's for your sake. And if you have little children, for their sake as well. And I'm also hoping the individual would not allow embarrassment or shame or judgment to keep them bound. These are those moments where you say, who cares what they say about me? I don't care about their opinion of me, my neighbor, my friends, or my family. I need to remove myself from this situation, and I'm going to do that right now. So I would suggest you call a hotline, call an organization, or a trusted family member or friend. I tell you, the reality is people are more accepting and understanding and loving than we think. And it's true. There are some people out there that don't show mercy, compassion, or empathy. And don't let that discourage you from reaching out to people who may have never had a clue about what you were going through. And then the moment you reach out, their doors fling wide open. Come here. My home is available. Whatever you need, I'm here. So speak up and speak out. Get the help that you need for your own sake and for your own safety.
So much, Chante. And I just like to let you know that you have this wonderful YouTube channel and you offer words and encouragement to those. And I just love it. There's one that you recently did a couple of months ago in regards to likes on social media. Do you remember that one?
I struggled with being a people pleaser. And I mentioned earlier, when you go through trauma, the manifestation varies for everybody. Everybody's aftermath is different. There are some aftermaths and manifestations that are very, on point and strategic to that trauma. But, everyone's different. So one of my issues has been a people pleaser. And that carried on as I stepped out to help people heal from experiences. And I had my moments where I felt like, am I doing this right? Am I good enough for this? Who do I think I am anyway? In the first place, compared to them or that. And then, as I always say, that intimate relationship we have with the Lord, it carries us. There's wisdom there. And I talk to God about everything. And I just remember pondering, and I heard it so clear in my heart that it's not about likes, Likes. It's about lives, Lives. And I envisioned, again, that person who may not share their story. They may not be ready to reach out to the therapist or a family member or a friend, but they may hear your story. They may come across your Facebook or Instagram post, and your story or your words of encouragement can resonate with them more than anything they may have ever heard in their life. And again, for various reasons, they may not bother to like your post or heart it on Instagram. Maybe they don't really want to connect with that story, knowing good and well it's their story too. But I've learned that once we realize it's not about us, it's not about, oh, Chante did and Chante said, when I can let all of that go and realize my why is God did it for me, and I strongly believe he could do it for you, you don't have to like anything I ever say. But the wonderful thing about it is the day I see my Heavenly Father and he looks and says, well done, Chante, you did what I called you to do. You didn't care if people applauded you and liked you on social media. I know that that's a worldly view of success. You have followers, millions, and it looks good and it feels very good. But I commend you, daughter, because you weren't concerned about it. If you got it, hey, praise the Lord. If you didn't get it, praise the Lord. And I have had individuals private message me and say, thank you for posting this, or you inspire me. And I say, that's what it's about. Like, and here's the deal. What if they never said, thank you, Chante? I just have to know that something that I said helped somebody out there somewhere. And I'm convinced that when the passion stirs up and you can't shake it, you know it's something you're supposed to do it. And don't worry about whatever else comes. Just know that God will always provide. He'll send people across your path to strengthen you, to expand your reach. And put your trust in him and not people. And do it because you want to please God and not man.
Man, I love that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Put your trust in God and not man.
Yeah.
And with that, we're dealing with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and every company is jumping on board. It's been very heavy, and this is spirit of hatred and domination and just straight up sin. We know that this is quote unquote our new normal that we hear all the time. And you know, you live in the South, and there's always been a connection with racism, especially dealing in the southern states. I myself, my family's from South Carolina. We've dealt with children growing up, going down every summer, and now it's prevalent in every state. Speak to the audience about that.
Yeah. You know, that question came up with a group of ladies I had a session with about a month or so ago. And you're right, I live in Georgia, and a lot has transpired here. I'm originally from California, and there have been experiences that I've witnessed that are different from what I think I would typically see in California. And it's an interesting situation because when I look at my own life, and I'll speak for, you know, myself in terms of the way I think, I do first line it up to, I've chosen to be a follower of Christ. And when I have that mindset, and then I look at what I see in the world, I like to check my perspective. I hate what I see. And I'm like, well, Lord, what do we do when we hate what we see? And I believe that God strategically shows people, you know, shows us what to do and how to do it so that we can get results. For a one-on-one situation, again, similar to a conversation I had not too long ago, I have a model. I call it my formula for my organization: heal, love, live. Heal emotionally, step 1. Love earnestly, step 2. And live freely. And the heal emotionally, this is for everybody. Let's use racism. You've had some experiences, whether you are Black or white or something else, and you haven't healed from those experiences. You don't have a complete understanding of, for example, yes, in the South, if you think it's something wrong with Black people just because they're Black, that's the issue, right? You need to heal from that, you know? And once they go, what do you mean heal from it? It's not like they've been traumatized. Well, in a sense, yeah, that's false information. And you have someone thinking it's something wrong with someone because of the color of their skin. There should be an understanding, a healing. And then for the individual who has been victimized, they too need to have, you know, must experience a healing. So individually, we heal emotionally. And then that next step, I always see it as a 3-part step: loving earnestly, allowing God to do what he does best, love us unconditionally. And I'm always about that. Love is so deep and so real that when you experience that kind of love, you begin to love yourself and others. And when you can combine all of that together, you end up living life free. Now, to some, that may seem so vague and so general, but if you could envision every person on this planet plugging that formula into their lives and their situations, would this not be an emotionally healthy world where it wouldn't have to be racism or sexual assault or domestic violence? It would be, we all have had some issues, but because even when you think about some, because we know it's not all, but some police officers who clearly aren't doing the right thing, even when you think about them, okay, I'm convinced that there's something going on somewhere in that person's heart or mind. But if they would have healed emotionally, love earnestly, and live freely, it would have been a different outcome. And that's how I see it. You know, yes, like I said, there's an anger in we can hate sin, and that is very real in my heart and in my life. At the same time, I refuse, and I would encourage anyone out there listening to refuse to allow what you see to make you bitter, but prayerfully seek strategies that could move us forward as a community, as a nation. And as we all say, it starts, in our home. I may not be interviewed on the news to talk about racism, but I feel very confident in the way I talk about it with my children and with my friends that are not Black. And it starts, I feel like, in those small communities where you can have conversations undergirded in love that are not threatening, to bring forth understanding. But again, at the end of the day, in the word tells us that, it's all about love. And I know people may hear that and think that is too simple of a word or of a solution for this big problem. Well, to me, love is God. God is love. And there's nothing too big for him to handle. And I do feel that sometimes we become desensitized to prayer, and not just pray, but pray and then do what God tells you to do. Follow through with the instructions. And again, sadly, there are people who are Christians, but they're still fighting each other. And that's where I feel like those who are in the positions of politics, that we, again, would truly just seek God and allow him to give us the wisdom in terms of how do we cross this bridge without the hate, without the anger. And I am always hopeful in prayer, knowing that things can and will turn around for our good and for his glory.
Thank you so much, Chante. Now, how could one get in touch with you? I know you have a website. Could you share your website and also the name of your book and where they can purchase?
Amazon, first of all, I'll put that out there. Amazon.com is where you can purchase the book, My Lemonade Recipe, Turning Life's Sour Experiences into Something Sweet. And I can be reached. My website, personal website, is Chante Dent. Simple, ChanteDent. And you can connect with me there. We mentioned earlier the ministry and organization that I have is Earnest Love. And you can connect with Earnest Love, earnestlove.org, EARNESTLOVE.org. And that's an organization where we'll offer support to help women heal from any experience that has left them emotionally wounded.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Again, I'm Denise Sutton for Can We Talk Television, and thank you for joining us with our very special guest, Chante Dent. Take care. God bless.
Hey Denise,
Yes,
are you ready to shoot an episode of Can We Talk?
yes I am.